He beats out. Jon Jones remains the UFC light heavyweight champion.
We saw him crush Shogun Rua, and as if that wasn't good enough, he effortlessly countered Daniel Cormier during a UFC match to become the top dog in the game. Now with 10 knockouts and 4 submissions, it is no wonder why some of the UFC enthusiasts like Dana White refer to him as the MMA GOAT. But is he truly the best? Well, let's find out. Jon Jones became the youngest champion in UFC history at the age of 23 when he defeated Mauricio Shogun Rua for the light heavyweight title in 2011. It is this victory that marked the beginning of his reign in the division. Now it's often said that boxing and MMA are like apples and oranges, both fruits, but with very different flavors. Boxing prides an unblemished record as a badge of honor. MMA is, well, a bit different. In the UFC, a fighter can rack up a few losses and still be called a legend. In the cage, it's not about how many times you hit the canvas, but will you get back up after being humbled? You can try to point your eyes at the, dare we say, colorful cast of MMA legends: Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, Robbie Lawler, Sugar Sean O'Malley, Israel Adesanya, Stipe Miocic, and Chuck Liddell, to name a few. These warriors have faced the fury of the octagon and bear the scars to prove it. They've lost fights, sure, but each defeat was a chapter in their epic rise, making their comebacks even more heroic. However, there exists a rare breed in MMA, fighters who not only survive the sport's brutality, but do so with almost supernatural avoidance of losses. And this is where you find Jon Jones, a phenomenon in human form, just hanging around with a record that could make even the most arrogant of warriors jealous.
Trying to pry it off. It's all over! Jon Jones!
Jon Jones, coming from the Empire State, stands with an impressive record of 26 wins in 27 fights. It is with no doubt that Jones stands as a legend for his unmatched fighting style, combining wrestling and striking, often leaving his opponents intimidated, while his ability to adjust to various fighters in the octagon makes him both versatile and unpredictable. Now, before you get too surprised, let's talk about that one mark on Jones's nearly perfect record. It was 2009, and Jones was pitted against Mike Hamill. In a fight, Jones was dominating while showcasing his skills. He landed some illegal downward elbows. Then, the referee at the time, Stephen Mazzagatti, made a controversial call, disqualifying Jones. So while the record shows a loss, anyone who witnessed that fight knows it wasn't a case of skill falling short, but rather a technicality tripping up an otherwise flawless performance. Fast forward through the years, and Jones has continued his rule of terror inside the octagon, collecting 20 wins against some of the fiercest light heavyweight competitors to ever strap on the gloves. Out of these 20 victories, 8 came at the expense of men who have held major MMA titles in their careers. Just in case you don't get the weight of that, let's put that into perspective. Jones didn't just beat up on the local chumps. He took down champions, many champions over and over again. And if that wasn't impressive enough, he finished 5 of those title holds before the final bell, sending them to the canvas early and often. See, Jon Jones isn't just ruling the cage. He's stacking that paper too. His career earnings are estimated to be around $15 million from fights, not even counting those sweet sponsorship deals. His net worth is sitting at a smooth $10 million, making him not just a beast in the cage, but one of the wealthiest fighters in MMA history. But what truly sets Jones apart is not just the quantity of his wins, but the quality. His dedication to training and discipline alongside an intense training routine and raw talent has kept him at the top of the game for over a decade. We're talking about a chain of shattered dreams and crushing ambitions. From Mauricio Shogun Rua to Daniel Cormier, Jones has faced a who's who's of the light heavyweight division, leaving a trail of former champions in his wake.
Yes, he is! Trying to survive.
He's out. He's out.
Jon Jones has done it!
And let's not forget the stakes. In 71% of Jones's fights, UFC gold was on the line. That's like playing poker, where the ante is your entire bankroll every hand. The pressure could break lesser men, but Jones thrived on it, turning the octagon into his personal proving ground. There was a time when UFC greatness was defined by legends like Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva, and George St-Pierre. Their legacies seemed untouchable, literally carved in stone, until, of course, Jones came along and started challenging those once unshakable legends. Jones's journey to the top of MMA greatness has been anything but ordinary, filled with shiny highs and dramatic lows. His skill, athleticism, and sheer dominance inside the octagon are matched only by the controversies that have dogged his career. And while now we can all agree that the former light heavyweight champion's record is near perfect, his career has been marked by failed tests and accusations of PED use. In 2016, Jones tested positive for hydroxychloroquine and letrozole metabolite, and the following year for Turinabol, which, well, brought a dark shadow over his impressive achievements. But even with these setbacks, Jones has managed to maintain his image as one of the greatest fighters to ever grace the octagon. His resilience and ability to recover from setbacks have only enhanced his legend. However, the threat of another failed drug test still hangs over him. A third strike could turn him into the UFC's version of Barry Bonds, a figure whose accomplishments are forever scarred and whose legacy is endlessly debated. Jones, ever the showman and warrior, had one more trick up his sleeve. After defending his light heavyweight title in February 2020, Jones started off on a journey of transformation. He began methodically building his body, packing on muscle to make a move to the heavyweight division, a journey to join the elite club of fighters who have held titles in 2 weight classes. This goal was not just about adding another accolade to his resume, but proving once and for all that he is the best UFC fighter of all time. Then came UFC 285. We all waited for this moment, wondering if Jones could conquer this new challenge. His opponent, former interim heavyweight champion Cyril Gane, was no pushover. Gane's agility, striking expertise, and technical skills had earned him a reputation as a formidable heavyweight. But Jones was never intimidated. He approached the fight with his usual blend of confidence and preparation. When the moment of truth arrived, Jones did not disappoint. In less than 3 minutes, he dismantled Gane with surgical precision, claiming the heavyweight title in a performance that left no doubt about his place in UFC history.
And he's putting pressure.
The victory not only crowned him as the 8th fighter to win championships in 2 divisions, but also solidified his status as the greatest UFC fighter of all time. With this victory, Jones became a 2-weight world champion, securing the vacant heavyweight title and solidifying his legacy in the sport. It is this journey that has left many of us impressed by Jon Jones. And not just us fans. Even Dana White and Joe Rogan have admitted that this may be the greatest fighter of all time. Marveling at the ease with which Jones picked apart Gane, White's admiration for the 35-year-old Jones was evident, saying, "Jon Jones is a unique individual. To even compare Francis Ngannou and Gane to Jones, you can't. He went in there and finished Gane. I still can't believe what I saw. How easy, fast, and simple he made that look. It's still blowing my mind." Jones needed less than 2 minutes to force Gane into submission with a guillotine choke. And we must admit it, this was art. Everyone in the Las Vegas crowd was left in amazement as Jones demonstrated why he is considered one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. He's the greatest of all time. There's no denying it now, White further said. It's hard to even talk about him and any other heavyweights. Jones's transition to the heavyweight division and his immediate success was just more proof of his versatility and unparalleled skill set. The fight for the heavyweight title came about because Francis Ngannou, the previous champion, left the UFC in January, ending any hopes of a much-anticipated showdown between Jones and the Cameroon-born Frenchman. Despite this, Ngannou graciously acknowledged Jones's achievement, tweeting, "Good job, Johnny boy. Sincerely, the heavyweight king." White was then candid about the efforts to arrange the fight between Ngannou and Jones, admitting that this was a long-standing goal that ultimately proved unattainable.
Never going to happen. We tried to make that fight with him for 3 years.
Jones, whose recent fight was a successful defense of his light heavyweight title in February 2020, wasted no time in setting his fights on his next challenge. Immediately after his victory over Gane, Jones called out former heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic.
Y'all want to see me beat up Stipe?
White then confirmed that he would work to make the fight happen, acknowledging Jones's unique status in the sport. Jon Jones is one of those guys, so good, so talented, but it's like dealing with an artist, White explained. Not many people can take 3 years off and don't work. He wants to fight Stipe, so we'll make the Stipe fight. Whatever happens after that, maybe he retires, I don't know. Adding to the chorus of praise, UFC commentator Joe Rogan, who has been a front-row witness to Jones's career since its inception in August 2008 at UFC 87, reflected on the historic win at UFC 285. On his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan emphatically declared, "Jon Jones is the GOAT." Rogan elaborated on Jones's indisputable greatness.
Jon Jones is the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Now it's undeniable.
It's undeniable.
There was all this debate until
Yeah.
he submitted Cyril Gane and became the heavyweight champion. No one can fuck with that. If you get to be Jon Jones, like, wow. Imagine that feeling. Imagine that feeling of strangling Cyril Gane like fucking a minute into the fight. And everybody being like, wow, he's the GOAT. That's
the
it.
baddest man on the planet.
Rogan's endorsement carries quite some weight, given his extensive experience and insight into the sport. Having called Jones's fight from the very beginning, Rogan's perspective highlights the extraordinary nature of Jones's achievements. What is next after the Miocic fight? Alex Pereira?
A lot of people are saying Alex Pereira at heavyweight is awfully intriguing. I know we got Jones and Stipe, we got Aspinall and Blades.
I'm standing up there with the belt, and I had Joe Rogan in my ear the whole time we were up there. Let him fight heavyweight. Come on. Just do it.
Alex seems ready to go. He wants every fight right now.
Who wouldn't want to see the fight? I mean, they're great fights. But what it sounds like to me, not just Joe Rogan and everybody else, they wants to see him go to heavyweight. And when we were talking to him tonight, he doesn't give a shit. He said, I'll fight at heavyweight. I'll fight wherever you want, whenever you want. He's ready to turn around and wants to fight again right away. So he's that guy. He's a savage, man. The guy's an absolute stud. And not to mention the fact that he's a smart guy and realizes time isn't your friend in this game. And get in there, accomplish as many great things as you can. Like you guys were saying, whoever said it earlier, look at what a huge star he's become in such a short amount of time, because people in the fight business love guys who want to fight, love guys who want to finish, love guys who want to compete. As a fight fan, he's like the ideal fighter that you would follow and become a fan of.
But what's your take? Do you think that there's no doubt left that Jon Jones is the MMA GOAT? One thing is for sure, if he can stay clean, the fight money will be there, the sponsorship money will flow in, and millions around the world will watch at the edge of their seats. Share your thoughts below and subscribe to the channel for more updates on your favorite sport. See you in the next one.
The greatest